Hello. Before I start, I'm really thankful to be here today. Connecticut, I know it's crazy being from California, but Connecticut holds a very, very special place in my heart. And if it wasn't for this beautiful soul that I met years ago, I would have never made my journey here and met such amazing people. And I'm so glad to see all of the people that Julia has been able to surround herself with. And so thank you for having me. And this is my first time performing. So here we go. It's just a little thing that I wrote. So it's called Where I End and You Begin. Just a little background. It's something that my therapist had brought up to me, and it's like one of those things where you pretend that you know what they're talking about. You're like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But then, like, months later, you're like, oh, now I get it. So I just wrote a little something about what that means to me. Okay. Ever since I can remember, love was a feeling I searched for. Trauma and grief ruled most of my life, from practically birth to young adulthood. I was under the impression that external love would heal me. All I needed was to find my person to love me and heal me through their love. I never actually thought about what true love truly meant to me. I could go on and on about how it felt. It was a feeling I'd craved since a young child, and I would take pride in being able to love others so passionately and deeply. And after all of those years of trauma and grief, I could confidently say I had found that love. A love I had never felt before, but my love was blindly selfish and codependent. That is what love has always been for me. I didn't know any better. And so in the absence of that love is where I had to hold myself accountable for how I thought about love. Because in hindsight, external love was the arbiter of my worth. And so now I've had to look inside of myself. I found myself at a fork in the road. Be completely honest with myself about what's not working, or ignore it just to keep getting by as I always have. And so that groundwork started with love, the love inside of me. I began building my own foundation with myself instead of alongside another person. And over time, I could see as long as I love myself to my absolute core, that true love will begin to externally radiate. After pitying myself for losing that love, I spent a lot of time reflecting on that magical experience. It was the hardest thing to radically accept that I possibly will never have that love again. And I still fight with the idea of having hope to have it again. So every day, I work on surrendering to the universe, releasing anxious attachment in every aspect of my life. So something I live by is a quote in Kundalini. When everything is miserable outside of you, then you will be miserable. And when everything outside of you is happy, you will be happy. With that said, I can confidently say I've always been one to be passionate about soul work. And so I continue to learn just what it means to love myself before I love someone else. And even after the worst heartbreak of my life, I can now see love will always exist where I end and you begin. Woo! Woo! Woo!